Okay. Yes. We are talking about Buddha nature all day. All day. Buddha has said that all beings have Buddha nature, right? When we talk about Buddha nature, I'm sure you really want to know, how do we prove that all sentient beings always have Buddha nature? And how do we know we all have Buddha nature? Or why do all sentient beings possess Buddha nature, the enlightened essence? Now, according to Uttara Tantra, Uttara Tantra is the most important Buddhist text explains about Buddha nature. And I want to quote from Uttara Tantra. There are three important reasons why all sentient beings are never apart from Buddha nature. I'm not sure this translate correctly, this translation, in English, but it says, okay, this is the reason, okay? We all have Buddha nature. Three reasons. So Uttara Tantra says, because the Dharmakaya of the perfect Buddha is radiant. One reason. Second reason, because suchness cannot be differentiated. Okay, suchness is hard, difficult English, okay, not perfect word for Tibet, Devjin Nyit. Devjin means kind of like such. Nyit is nis. When we say Tongba is empty, right? Nis, Nyit, in Tibetan Tongba, Nyit is nis. Always you guys, English, Nyit is nis. I don't know. So suchness, emptiness, right? So Tongba Nyit, Devjin Nyit. Devjin Nyit means the nature, Nis. So that's second, the suchness cannot be differentiated. That's second reason. And because of all beings possess the potential. Third reason, therefore, they always have Buddha nature. Now you see, this is, according to, the Buddhist philosophy, this is very famous and important proof that all sentient beings have Buddha nature. But it's also kind of hard to understand because it's involved Buddhist philosophy, So there are a lot of debate between different schools about Buddha nature. But I will try to explain as best I can. Now, the first reason that we all have Buddha nature is because an ordinary being like us, through the practice, we can manifest the primordial wisdom of Dharmakaya, the perfect Buddha. That is because we have Buddha nature. Therefore, we all can manifest as a Buddha, just as a Buddha Shakyamuni did. This means that for instance, Buddha Shakyamuni must have the potential to become a Buddha. Because becoming a Buddha would be impossible without any such potential. Nagarjuna a great master, philosopher, amazing, famous. He says that if there is no gold under the ground, then no matter how much you search for it, you will never find it. Similarly, if there is no Buddha nature or no potential, then no matter how much we practice, it would be impossible to attain liberation. If there's no gold, there's nothing to find it. If there's no potential, nothing to achieve. No matter how hard we tried, and no matter how long we practice, we would never achieve any kind of quality of enlightenment. It's like you try to grow a lotus flower without its seed. Therefore, we can understand the truth of this or proof of this through our practice and through our personal, actually, spiritual experience. Because it's actually very easy to prove that all sentient beings possess Buddha nature. Even like after a short meditation, a peaceful and relaxed mind arises. So meditation is the key that discovers this nature and brings inner wisdom. So it is possible for all of us someday to achieve liberation, and we will discover our enlightened capacity if we continue to practice, because the essence of liberation is already present within ourselves. This is for practitioners, so important, this one. More important, actually, this is the most important, actually, in our life, to discover this nature before we die. Now, regarding this point, some people might think, if the essence of liberation, Buddha nature, itself is already present in all sentient beings, then why do we still have so many obscurations? Why does this Buddha nature not automatically eliminate all these obscurations? That is because even the primordial wisdom is present equally in all sentient beings without any difference. But when the temporary delusion arises in our own minds, in that moment we are unable to recognize reality, even though this Dharmakaya is clearly manifesting at that moment when delusion arises. But we are still unable to discover the true nature and recognize it the way it really is, because we have so many obscurations. And as I said, ignorance that block this reality and our wisdom, so that our knowledge is very limited. Think about this. When we are involved in only worldly things, we don't really see our basic goodness. Every single day we are working with our emotions, and we develop them stronger and stronger and stronger. Every single day we are involved with ordinary life, which is like worldly life. Always attachment, desire, anger, all of this, everything. Can you imagine? Every single day, You think that's true. So, that's why we don't really see, this basic goodness. As I said, like a beautiful lotus flower growing in a cave. Nobody knows about it. And it's exactly like that. It's exactly like that. But you see, when you try to meditate, right? As I said, like relax in your mind, you can, right? You can. You try to develop, like love, compassion. You're all familiar with this meditation. You have some, maybe good experience, like love, compassion, bodhicitta, shamatha, vipassana. All of these are very common meditations. So you can develop. You know how to manifest your wisdom. You know how to relax your mind. Right? That is the why. It shows, it's proof that we have this potential. That's why it's radiant, Dzogsankan and Topshirta in Tibetan, the Uttradanta is the first reason. Let's talk about the second reason that all beings have Buddha nature is, again, the Uttradanta, remember, says, suchness cannot be differentiated. So this means there's no difference whatsoever between the Buddha nature that is present at the time of complete liberation and Buddha nature that we possess at this moment. Meaning, they begin yet again, the suchness of a fully enlightened Buddha and the suchness of ordinary beings like ourselves is exactly the same. So all the phenomena of samsara and nirvana are free from all of these extremes, and therefore they are equal. That's why you see one big reason in the Buddhist teachings, there is no discrimination because of this fundamental nature. We all have same potential, and from that point of view, there is no difference between you and me, we and Buddha. So in the ultimate, sense, the Buddha and sentient beings cannot be separated. So therefore, in the ultimate sense, from Buddha nature's point of view, kind of like, there is no difference between Buddha and you. Therefore, we say the qualities which will manifest at the time of reaching complete enlightenment are spontaneously present within oneself right now. That's why we all have Buddha nature. So that means, before we begin the path, during the path, after the path, the quality of the Buddha nature never changes. Now you see Möpen Rinpoche, the great teacher in Nyingma lineage. He has a beautiful commentary on Buddha nature. He said that you might think if all the aspects of reality and appearance are in great union at Buddhahood, liberation, then the question is, does the Buddha experience all these impure appearances or not? If he does, then all of these phenomena are not perfectly enlightened because they are impure. And if Buddha doesn't experience all these impure phenomena, appearances, then he cannot know about appearance. This is kind of also like involved with Buddhist philosophy, but it's kind of important to understand. The perfect wisdom of Buddha knows all phenomena of samsara and nirvana effortlessly and spontaneously, okay? As it sees everything that appears to it as great purity, without sort of ever straying from this vision. And it also aware of all the appearance perceived by 6 realms of beings going around in samsara exactly as they appear to each one of them. That's why we call Chimba in Buddhas. Remember? Chimba, Tsewa, Nipa, knowledge. Buddha's Chimba, the knowledge, is limitless. You can imagine our wisdom, how much we can develop limitless way if we remove all our disturbing emotions. So, since we're talking about this, a common example of this is a rope that looks like a snake. You know, when the Buddha sees it, he sees it as a rope, but he also understands how others are perceiving it as a snake. Do you understand what I'm saying? And he sees that their misconception of reality, of mistakenly seeing a rope as a snake, and bring them negative emotions like fear, panic, So they suffer. That is the second reason that we all have Buddha nature. It's like this. That's why I'm when I say ignorance. Buddha, when Buddha says the cause of suffering, the main cause of suffering is ignorance, right? It makes a lot of sense. Like when you are in the dark place, you see a rope, like multicolor rope, looks like exactly like a snake, and you don't recognize is a rope. Mistakenly, oh, there is a snake, poisonous snake. You get panic, then you suffer because of ignorance. You don't see it. It is actually the reality. This is not snake, but we don't see it because of ignorance. We don't understand, don't recognize. That's exactly the same. Exactly the same. All ordinary beings in samsara, without understand the reality, the Buddha nature, we suffer. We suffer a lot. You see, I'm not Buddha, even like not close. I have some kind of like bodhicitta, and almost my my whole life practice meditation, practice study, right? So I have some experience so that I can handle these negative things. I think I'm very very happy person because of my meditation. I completely 100% that I know I have Buddha nature. So it gives me enthusiasm, to practice. This is the most important because it makes me happy, and so that like through this meditation, less attachment, less anger. And then I can imagine someone who completely purified attachment and anger and all these negative emotions. I can't imagine how much they have a quality of enlightened quality. So the more you meditate, you will see the potential and your Buddha nature. So that's why the human beings are unique. Also, human beings are the most dangerous beings in the world. It depends the way your wisdom, which way you use your wisdom. You use your wisdom wrongly, then you are the most dangerous. You can destroy whole world. If you use right way your wisdom, you are the protector, all sentient beings. So anyway, that's the kind of like I don't go deeper, but A second reason, A third reason that we all have Buddha nature is, again, Uttara Tantra says, because all beings possess the potential. It means each sentient being naturally possess this enlightened potential. We should remember that those, if you know those great masters, like, according to like Nyingma, like Longchenpa, Bapta Rinpoche, like Mupam Rinpoche, in Gelug, Lama Tsongkhapa, all of that. These great masters attained complete liberation due to Buddha nature. We have so many examples, ordinary people who discovered Buddha nature and meditate and attain the complete liberation, So we cannot think like, oh, I can't practice. People like, Buddha Shakyamuni, or all these great masters can sort of attain enlightenment, but someone like me has no such capacity, so I can't practice or attain liberation. You cannot think like that. That's a wrong idea. It takes away your enthusiasm, diligence, discipline, everything. That's actually, I'm going to teach you about one reason why Buddha taught Buddha nature. Because we have this same Buddha nature as these great masters here, So we are capable of practicing the Dharma and attain liberation. That's very important to keep in your mind. You see? So these three reasons explain why all sentient beings have the essence of Buddha nature, essence of the Buddha. Then, when the Buddha taught that sentient beings possess Buddha nature, you see, it was not just for the purpose of encouraging us to practice, not only for that reason, but he wants us to know the truth, this truth. And through understanding our condition and essence and how things truly are, knowing this, we can then discover the perfect Buddha nature that is currently obscured by sort of these mental afflictions such as ignorance, desire, etc., etc. So when we talk about Buddha nature like this, we have to be careful also, because it might end up becoming something like a truly existing soul or, Atma or self, etc. I think sometimes people completely miss the point of Buddha nature and therefore easily misunderstand what Buddha nature is. So again, Buddha nature is not a soul as understood in non-Buddhist traditions. Because in Buddhism, as you know, we don't have a concept of soul. Because when we think about soul, it sounds like some sort of like permanent thing within us. Permanent thing within us. But that's the thing. In Buddhism, nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And when we say nothing is permanent, then you might think, what about Buddha nature? You know, it sounds like permanent to me. Buddha nature, right? We say like spontaneously present, there is no change. You know, if you think like that, then that's what I mean. You miss the point of Buddha nature. It doesn't have the definition of either permanent or impermanent. That's why we say it's beyond both of them. You know, and Uttara Tantra, it says it is ultimate. It is ultimate. So it is not the object of contemplation or sort of mundane meditation. Generally, Buddha nature is understood by enlightened beings, right? Because it is ultimate wisdom. It is beyond the dualistic mind. That's why, actually, it is not permanent. It's not impermanent. Because it is beyond the dualistic mind. It is beyond our current ability. But, you know, we have these instructions and great methods, you know. So through this, one day it will be unobscured. And we can discover this basic goodness. Because these obstacles, and again, these obstacles can be purified. From a Buddhist point of view, all these destructive things can be removed from the mind. I mean, we have that experience. We can practice, you know, detachment. We can practice love. You know, these are removable, you know. And these disturbing emotions are not created by, you know, Buddha or God or you know, Indians say Mahadewa or etc., whatever. But disturbing emotions are based on the belief in a self, in ego cleaning. That's it, ego cleaning. Ego cleaning comes from a wrong view. Okay? Ego cleaning. Selfish. It comes from a wrong view. Why is that? That is, again, because of ignorance. What about the we recited this morning Heart Sutra? Heart Sutra says no ignorance. No ignorance and no end of ignorance, right? It means ignorance arises from the view of self. Okay? And the conception of self does not exist when we investigate and when we practice. Therefore, in the ultimate sense, ignorance also does not exist. They're like, you know, like this coconut palm trees. When you peel all these layers of, you know, the skin of palm tree, eventually there is no essence, and there is no seed sort of inside. They're just layers of the skin. That's the tree. There is no solid inside the seed. So the tree where the more you take away these layers of skin, then tree will disappear. Likewise, when we peel sort of all these layers of our disturbing emotions, eventually there is nothing. But we discover Buddha nature. That's it. So you just but as long as you have these so many layers of negative emotions, you cannot discover Buddha nature, because Buddha nature is behind, this is covered, So as long as you have negative emotions, you cannot discover it. That's why this dualistic mind, with the dualist mind, no idea what is Buddha nature. Then this is the layers of disturbed emotions are what bind us, right? Through that, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're suffering. But behind all of these afflictions, there is this profound true nature. That is who you are. This is not who you are. Therefore, there's no reason to believe some sentient beings cannot become a Buddha or enlightened, Because, again, once this ego cleaning is diminished through our practice, then disturbing emotions will automatically eliminate. We have to investigate that ego cleaning. This creates all these negative emotions. Ego cleaning is like a foolish person carrying a huge torch against the wind. What will happen? So it will burn himself. So I when I teach, I talk a lot of negative things, but most people, in this world are selfish, really, That's why we have so much problem. And selfish. Their lives are controlled by greed. They're never satisfied, right? Never satisfied, because ego cleaning, selfish, So people should think deeply and should keep their mind pure, and should keep away from greed and selfishness, so that they can help. They can, less suffer, and happiness will, grow. That's why Buddha always said that you are your own master. Everything depends on your own responsibility. But what about Buddha? Buddha's responsibility is just to show us the path and give the teachings, such as Buddha nature, the truth. That's all, right? We have to discover our Buddha nature. Buddha said, you all have Buddha nature, but you have to discover. And should be happy. You should be happy every day while you're suffering like that. Because this is amazing essence, basic goodness. Very, very, very fortunate. But we have to discover Buddha nature, okay? Without, this is actually like universal, universal quality, like reality. It doesn't matter who you are, Buddhist, non-Buddhist, doesn't matter. You have this basic goodness. So you have to discover it. And without giving up disturbing emotions, we will be unable to realize the true nature. Another important is, I want to tell you is that bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is an essential cause for this realization. If you think, if I become enlightened, that would be enough. I don't care what happens to others, Then, first of all, you see, you understand, Buddha nature is so important. I have to discover it. I want to meditate, right? Right. This is kind of involved with selfish mind, but it's very good. This one is good one. But then the bad one is, when I become, enlightened, I don't care what happens to the others. Then the problem is actually your realization will be very limited, because of your motivation. But through bodhicitta, you give rise to the wish to accomplish the welfare of all sentient beings. With this sort of special motivation, the causes are complete for your liberation. And this is hard, like without understanding, like bodhicitta, this Mahayana motivation. Most people, they say, I can't, think about all sentient beings. I can't help all of that. I can't ignore myself. That's why we have Hinayana. That's also fine. Hinayanas take care of themselves. But Mahayana is a little bit stronger and deeper. So Mahayana say, when you think about all sentient beings, you are already included. The benefit of thinking about all sentient, you will get the benefit, not maybe others. So this is the same thing. When you think, I have to discover Buddha nature so that I can help others, because then my knowledge, right? My knowledge, my love, my capacity will grow, so that I have a capacity to help others. That is Mahayana motivation. And I will tell you another one is devotion. Devotion, another essential condition for this realization. This realization depends on devotion. Dr. Rinpoche said that devotion depends on the lineage, transmission and blessings. So devotion is the key for this practice, because, whether this practice successful or not depends on your devotion. You see, teachers always say that have devotion to the lineage above. Have bodhicitta to, sentient beings below. So these two are very important. So I mentioned to you these so many times, but again, great masters said, realization is reached through the path of blessings. Okay, blessings are reached through the path of devotion. You see, so this is important to remember when you practice. So you see, actually, there is one cause. It is bodhicitta, and there is one condition. It is devotion. Okay, Buddha nature. We try to discover Buddha nature. So bodhicitta, cause, devotion, condition. Uttaratantra says, when Buddha nature is obscured, one is ordinary being. And later, when it's half sort of purified, the ordinary being has become a bodhisattva. That's what we call it, bodhisattva. And Buddha nature is completely realized and freed from all negativities. The bodhisattva has become a Buddha. So ordinary become a bodhisattva, bodhisattva become a Buddha. That is the stage, you know. So you see, there are three beings, right? Ordinary, bodhicitta, bodhisattva, and Buddha. Three beings, one nature. Three beings, one nature. What is one nature? Buddha nature. So if you don't recognize this Buddha nature, we call it ordinary being. If you are close to, you have sort of like purified your negative emotions, you become a bodhisattva. And completely, you're Buddha. In the way, the Buddha sometimes taught clearly of the Buddha nature's essence. In Tibetan, we call it Ngo essence. By teaching emptiness. Sometimes the Buddha gave clarification on its nature. In Tibetan, Ramyin, Ngo Ramyin. So important, these two words. By explaining its qualities. Essence and nature. Essence, emptiness. Nature, qualities. Chimba, tsewa, nipa. Do you understand? Chimba, knowledge, compassionate love, and capability. What do you call it? Capable. Capacity. These are the nature. So we must understand that these two aspects, emptiness and nature, do not contradict each other. Okay? And in order to recognize this nature, meditation is the key. And as you continue to practice the instructions, then meditation slowly arises. You should know that everything cannot be discovered at once. But if you create a good condition in your mind, then inner realization and deep meditation will slowly arise. So you really need to keep, understand that the everything cannot be discovered at once. Because Westerners, too much, the expectations. You cannot, discovered this Buddha nature so that you have, already these qualities. knowledge, tseva, chimba, compassion, ability. Once you discovered Buddha nature, still you don't have these qualities. It's like you see from here to on the sky, the moon, you can see it, but you still don't see completely. You just go, you have to go closer and closer and closer. You see the moon detailed and everything clear and everything. That's the same thing. Once you discover Buddha nature, you see the Buddha nature, but still you don't have those qualities because you have to purify negative emotions. But meditation, you have to create a good condition in your mind so that your inner realization will slowly arise. So therefore, Buddha said, Buddha nature is possessed by all sentient beings, but it buried so deeply in the defilements of worldly ignorance. So it remains unknown for a long time, right? And on top of that, we really every single day develop our negative emotions so that they are so strong. That's why, suffering is so universal. This nature is universal thing, but we don't recognize it, then suffering is universal because of ignorance. Okay, let's meditate. How much do we have time? Yes. Let's see. Can you relax? Can you relax your mind today? Little bit, right? Let's recognizing your thoughts, and relax. How about that? Recognizing your thoughts and then relax. Because it's very, very simple, right? But it's kind of profound. And again, it is the foundation of the recognition of Buddha nature. So you see, the goal of this meditation is create sort of longer times of self-awareness. As you stabilize your concentration, you will also be aware of your thoughts and your distractions. So in order to, recognize your thoughts and then relax, don't sort of grasp or reject your distractions. Recognize the situation, for instance, and then let it go. That is your awareness. You have awareness, do you? You have awareness. When you meditate, you are not like in a coma, something like happened, but I don't know. It's just like very dark and like, you're not like that. It's very amazing, actually. We have this Buddha nature. That's why you see, when you meditate, you have no thoughts, but still you understand what is going on. That's your awareness. That you have that experience, do you? That's even not close to the Buddha nature. But still we have this amazing sort of an ordinary level, like when we meditate, we have this capacity. So like this. I have no thoughts, but I still understand what is going on. That's why these amazing teachers, I grew up with these amazing teachers. When they drink, when they eat, when they talk, they never lose their Buddha nature. Can you imagine that? We have no idea when we're angry, we act immediately, punch someone's face, right? We just can't do it because not enough meditation. But they really do. They like this great master. I have that experience. When they speak, they never lose the Buddha nature. That's they called limitless knowledge or great wisdom. You know? We don't know. Sometimes when we speak, when we have conversation, we hurt each other because we don't know actually what we're talking. But the more you develop your awareness, you will develop, the capacity so that even like you see this Indian, these 80 Mahasiddhas, they have looks like they're very normal and ordinary people. They have a wife, they have children, they have a job, but the Mahasiddhas, they have this recognition, they never lose, Then doesn't matter what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of, speak. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's you have this Buddha nature and you never lose it. That's what we call liberation. Don't misunderstand. When I attain liberate, I go somewhere else. There's no suffering and everything's happiness. Not like that. So when you freed or your mind completely relaxed, yet you have this amazing knowledge, awareness. That's what we call liberation. If you don't have that, then we are in samsara. That's what we call it, this world. And so anyway, this awareness is so important. Otherwise, when you meditate, like don't develop that. It's like you have no idea, but you have no thoughts, you have no awareness. We have that too, but that's kind of a little bit. So this awareness is important. Okay, so let your mind rest in a more sort of peaceful state. If you say, I can't do that, how should I do that? We have instruction. Remember Machik Labden? It said like, alert, yet relax. Dimji dim, hutji hut, dimji dim la. In English, alert and alert. Hutji hut, relax. So this is really important, this balance, to keep your balance, between tight and loose when you meditate. So that don't let your mind sort of get too tense from sort of inwardly concentrating. At the same time, don't let your mind get too loose from outwardly thinking too much. So this is the key, instruction of how do I relax my mind? Not too loose, not too tight. Keep this balance. Then I'm sure you will really have good meditation. So, if you like, just breathe out, relax. Breathe in, relax. So it's kind of like really, yes, also at the same time, recognition, awareness. So let's do that for a few minutes, okay? Let's do it.